Amid a recent surge in insecurity in the country, in different parts of the country, there was a call for actually talking about the state policing. And we're saying that yesterday the president, together with the 36 governors, met and they came to an agreement that there is a need for state policing, together with the talk on war on food insecurity. Good afternoon and welcome to Nigeria Now, where we look at issues that affect Nigerians and then, if possible, provide solutions, if possible, to some of the things that are happening in the country. I am Sada Elisha Dasho, and I'll be doing the program with Rachel Tansey. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Afternoon, Sada.
All right, we have a number of things on our plate this afternoon. So remember, you can be part of the conversation. Drop your comment and your views as well on our Facebook and YouTube handles, and then we'll see how we can put our heads together and actually provide solutions. Now, looking at the meeting that held yesterday, I mean, it is long overdue, if you ask me. But then, like I always say, it's better late than never, because with the rise in insecurity in various parts of the country, I think you and I saw it on the papers recently, where bandits are even raping women, taking them, forcing them to be brides when they are not ready. And then we also saw that in the FCT, that a number of Nigerians were actually afraid that, I mean, if it has gotten to the FCT, then there is no part of the country that is safe. Or I'm going to talk about the kidnap of the Ekiti students, or the killing of the monarchs still in Ekiti State, when they were just coming back from a meeting. So we can keep mentioning, or are we going to talk about the attack in Plateau State during the Christmas Eve down? So even after the Christmas break, we keep having pockets of attack. And there was really a call for, you know what, we should have a police more like something that is peculiar to our own local areas, because we really know what is happening. We know whether it's kidnappers, bandits, Boko Haram, regardless of whichever name a state decides to take up. Because it seems that, to me, if you ask me, it's one and the same. But every state decides to give it a name that it is actually. And we are seeing that the president actually said, you know what, let us do this, because it is very, very important. Even though they didn't talk about only the state policing, they were also talking about the issue of the food insecurity that has been happening recently. And then we wake up this morning to say that, you know what, our inflation rate has increased to about 35%. So you could tell that for food, and then for the normal inflation, it's about 29.9, which I rounded up to be 30% as far as I'm concerned, Rachel. So you could see that there is a need for putting hands together. There is a need for synergy coming from not just the federal level, but down even to the local government, to put heads together to see what can we do to fight, because this is a common enemy. If you're talking about insecurity, we cannot even talk about food without securing the land, first and foremost, for farmers to go there. And I really think I have to applaud the president for taking that step. And I'm hoping that beyond the words, we're waiting to see the work. Because this is what Nigerians always hold on to, that it's one thing for us to see our leaders saying, let us do this. But then what is the backing? What is the work? Of course, we know that the federal government, they are not yet done with this meeting. There will still be a need for other modalities, calling of other meetings. How would this whole policy be implemented and all of this? And we know we always have a problem with implementing policies in this country. So this is another policy that I think needs thorough rethinking before the action will actually take place eventually.
Of course, for now, it's just an agreement. It's just president, governors having an executive meeting saying we are agreeing on something like that. But then there's more work that needs to be done. That is the modalities, the templates, the blueprint, you know, regulations, and everything that is needed, because whether we like it or not, as small as it might be, is another security branch in the government. And this time around, we have police, which is federal, and now we have state police. They are still police. One owned by the state government, one owned by the federal government. So everything, I think that the difference, if we want this state police to really succeed, that the difference in operation should just be jurisdiction, and jurisdiction just state-wise. Whereas a policeman from Plateau State can be posted to Lagos. Of course, the state police can only be posted from Kanke or to Riom or something like that. But every other modality that has been put in place for the Nigerian police to be successful, to be efficient, should also be put in place for the state police, so that they will be well equipped, well armed, intelligent. They should undergo the kind of training police go through. I know for police officers, depending on the rank, not the recruits or how we know them, but depending on the ranks, they go for over 9 months training. You have to have a certain level of qualification, educational qualification, and all of that. This should also be put in place. Now, it's state police, and just as we said, we want it down to the rural area. So, of course, we might not come and start saying, giving a high standard of education or something like that. But for it to be very effective, so I believe that the modality in which the Nigerian police operate with will be the same, most especially when it comes to training, when it comes to them being equipped, when it comes to information, resources. I don't want to see it lacking, even if qualification, education-wise, might be less, looking at the fact that we really want it to spread. It could be considered differently for every other thing. And I'm even looking forward, Sele, to where the state police would have shined the Nigerian
Rachel, I was about
police.
going to that. It seems as if you just took that thought out of my mind, actually, truly.
Because the state government can put in their all. This is the time for state governors to wake up. The thing is that regardless of what you keep saying, is that the number one responsibility of every government is securing the lives of their citizens, then property. With life we can build again. With life we can move. State governors should put it as an achievement. And I believe me, Sele, that if any governor should be able to achieve a maximum amount of security in their state, just for that, that governor should deserve a second tenure if they are just starting out. And in the future, that person will just become a major stakeholder in the state that the people will listen to. Because as it is now, if there's anything that threatens in Nigeria more than our economic depression and situation, is insecurity. And every Nigerian will do whatever they can do or it takes to be able to be secured and safe. So imagine a government at the state level that is able to provide such for. You are automatically doing your first and foremost mandate before any other thing will fall in place.
You know, Rachel, my only fear is I love, in as much as it look lovely, and it's something that personally I was looking forward to hearing the president and giving the go-ahead, because we know they have been pushing for our lawmakers to actually do something about sponsoring a bill in regard to this. It's the fact that, Rachel, today we're yet to have the names of people who are financing terrorism. Because, Rachel, it's important. We're trying to move a step further, talking about having state police. And we're yet to have the names of the people who have been troubling our states for years right now. Then that only tells that we are yet to be serious about fighting insecurity. Rachel, you could imagine if you wake up tomorrow to the papers and then you see that these are the names of the people. I mean, who have their name in it, just the way we are going to have various when you maybe on your checkpoint you get to see banners of the names of people that the security agency are looking for, and they say a ransom on this person. Just imagine we have the names of those people being put in every checkpoint, Rachel. You get to see the face of the person that's actually sponsoring the job. You just have a picture of that, Rachel, and see what that will do to Nigeria.
Bold security move.
That is to show that the government is really, really ready. You remember, I always love using the word that we need to lock horns to break horns. And this is what I'm looking forward to seeing the federal government doing. I keep saying the fact that, you know what, these Boko Haram, kidnappers, terrorists, headers, whichever name we call them, whichever part of the country you're coming from, and whatever name that suits you, it is very important that we treat them as the enemy that they are. We keep saying it's not about the Niger Delta, whereby we had to sit down on the round table and they were like, okay, is it because of the oil spillage? Is it because we don't give it a certain percentage? Okay, this is what we're going to do as a government. We are having an amnesty program. We'll be sponsoring your children. So allocation will be coming to you. And that was done. And after that, we were done. But the reverse is the case. If you are to bring these people to the table, what negotiation or what talk are you having with them?
Nothing whatsoever.
Is there any part of the Rachel, in as much as when you buy a land, you're giving papers, every land belongs to the government eventually. So what are we saying? Who are we kidding? I love this move coming from the let us have state policing. But if we are yet to actually tackle the people who are troubling, when you put the entire Boko Haram, they are not much. They are not more than, I mean, right now our population is over 200, maybe 223 million. However, our population is right now, we are hoping for a census. They are not even up to 1 million. In fact, they are not even up to 500,000 as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. It's just that they are smart and they actually put themselves in strategic position. So we get to see if they have so much power. So we're talking about jurisdiction, hoping that we don't have our state police clashing with the army, clashing with the other police force and all of that. But then let us have the names of these people. I believe, Rachel, that we have the names. I mean, we saw a bandit that was bold to confess that we have sponsors. So if you have the guts, you have the effrontery to actually say, you know, or you actually have sponsors, let us have the names of the sponsors. Yeah. And we keep saying that, let the rule of law take its place. Honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing where that rule of law will actually take its place. So let's look forward to seeing what will happen after this. We know that more meetings will be holding. So however this meeting is on hold, we'll keep our viewers updated with all of that. But I believe that Nigerians are looking forward to seeing more proactive measures coming. Now, in regards to that, we're seeing that need to strengthening to stop lifting petrol. I mean, this is not the first time we are having the Nigeria Association of Road Transport Owners saying that, you know what, we are tired. Logistics is expensive, one way to another. We don't even have enough money to even fuel the trucks. Some of them have even started packing already, and more will be joining them on Monday. And because they listed a number of things, they don't have enough money, how much it will cost them to actually offload, and then how much it will also cost them, and then they're actually running on a loss eventually. So you could imagine maybe using like about 120,000, and then eventually you'll be spending more than that. That is really running on a loss, and they're bringing it to the forefront for the federal government to realize that, you know what, we are tired. They stated the fact that they have written various letters, and it seems as if those letters are falling in deaf ears because nothing has been done about it. And I think we've been having these things, especially, in fact, especially coming from our tanker drivers, where they come out to say that extortion coming from people, they have to settle certain people on the road whenever they are trying to send maybe petrol from one part of the country to another. And it seems as if the federal government is doing nothing about it, the chief security is doing nothing about it, and they're just sick and tired of all of this. And they think the best way to get the attention of the government is to go on a strike. And the same question I'll ask Rachel, why do we always have to have a threat of a strike before the government of the day will realize that they are supposed to do something regarding situations in this country?
For me, it reveals the unthoughtfulness of the Nigerian government. Because the number one reason for NATO here is the fact that the cost of operation is high. And I believe that the hitches on the road of paying one money to be cleared on the road is less compared to how much it takes for them to operate and run these trucks. And it basically runs around diesel. These trucks, that's what they consume. Not petrol, is diesel, and they need it. And we're looking at diesel from within 1,250 to as high as 1,400 naira per liter. Now, the question is, these are our major source of transporting oil from one part to another of the country. And yet the federal government is sitting down, watching the cost of diesel going high and not doing anything about it. We don't have trains yet, so we can't say we have other alternatives to transporting oil. This is majorly it. I don't think the federal government need a prophet to come and tell them that they need to step in concerning diesel in the country. Now, due to power shortage in the country, we are seeing what the development is threat. This is why, first of all, diesel is going high. And then for kerosene and diesel, for example, we've seen that subsidy has been removed from it since 2006 and then 2016. And what have been able to sustain the prices of these two commodities was demand. And then all of a sudden, gas, liquid gas, step in, and there
then
was
the
no longer
demand for
for
kerosene.
kerosene.
True.
And then we saw what we are seeing now, what the price of kerosene has gone high. Now, if the supply is consistent, it means the price will be able to remain. Now I'm coming to diesel now. For kero, it has become what it is now. But for diesel, if only the demand was at the normal rate that it's supposed to be, the price could have been able to be maintained as what it is. Then now demand began to outweigh supply, and then price of diesel keep going up. Why? Because now there's no power supply. Businesses have to run into all these generators and all of that, and they consume diesel, and then before you know it, it has gone high, and then the supply and the demand has gone high, and then the supply now have to meet up to the demand, and now we are seeing a totally different price for diesel. Now, what is the federal government supposed to do? Step in. Step in. Now, I'm not going to say let's go back into paying subsidy for diesel. No, we should. It won't be a bad idea, Sele, but I'm just trying to put ourselves in a position where we don't have to keep going back to what we have left. If there's a need for that, perhaps. But I want the federal government to step in, because this organization have a concrete reason to say, you know what, we cannot keep up with this price of diesel. And this is the major, we have to take this petrol. It's part of the business. However, we can't keep up with this price. So what are you going to do, the Nigerian government, about it? You have to step in. And this is where I believe you sat down, you saw all the things that are starting to go wrong in terms of demand supply, and you tell me, Sele, that the Nigerian government couldn't predict that diesel will become this price. It's impossible, and they refuse to do anything about it. And then now we are in the position where we are, and then everything is just going haywire as far as I'm concerned in the country, concerning businesses, services, and what people are facing through. And when you look at it, what is the way forward? These are things that are not supposed to be tackled when they become a problem. These are things that predictions are supposed to help you foresee. You see far into the future, Sele, when it comes to some economic situation. And if only the needful was done, I don't think we would be in this position. This is where we would just obviously say that, you know what, we've been sleeping, and up till now, we are sleeping on our jobs in this country.
I mean, Richard, you were right when you said, I mean, the government do not need any prophet to tell them that, you know what, situation have been bad for a long period of time. But maybe because these tanker drivers have been quiet for so long, and then possibly they were hoping that somehow the government will actually listen to their plight and do something, but we didn't see that. Richard, is the same thing. You can actually apply it to almost everything that is happening. I'm going to say our government did not see the fact that we're actually going to be discussing the issue of food insecurity. For long, we saw that. What were you expecting when herders kept killing farmers on the farm?
Yes,
what were you thinking? You thought food from heaven was going to rain down, and then people have something to. Of course, this was going to be the precautions of this whole thing. So the same thing applies with our tanker drivers. I mean, when you know that the price of diesel is going high, definitely the cost of actually running all of these things, sustaining them, is actually going to be very high. And then they are not even recording that. So we are hoping that, you know what, that our government will really wake up. You don't need anybody to tell you this is it. And I'll still use your word, sleeping on duty. Because, Rachel, whether we like it or not, there was somebody who was started with the responsibility to check this, and the person just refused to. You will be surprised to see that all those letters, according to them, that they have been sending, maybe sitting on somebody's table, and the person just refused to forward it further. Because, believe you me, I believe that if it was sent to where it's supposed to be, something should have been done by now. I mean, let us, even if this as just word service, would have had somebody talking about it, but we've not heard anything about it. And this is not the first time we're having them threatening to go on strike. So that's just like I said, I'm looking forward to a government that will not wait for anybody or any organization to say, we are going on strike, before you realize that you will do the right thing. Baker said they are going on strike. Caterer said they are going on. So, Richard, eventually, if everybody goes on strike, what will happen? Labour is already even warning the government. We are going on strike as well. So by February 27th, right, that is when the time will elapse for Labour. So let us see how things go on, but we just hope that our government will do the right thing. Now let's touch a little of politics, where we are seeing that, I mean, we've been seeing it on the paper, the scandal in Labour Party between the chairman and the treasurer, where there was an allegation of about 3.5 billion naira. According to the treasurer, Opara, she's saying that Abure actually fraud or actually picked the money, let me use the literal word, from the account, and then here he's coming out to say he knows nothing about that money. And then it has gotten to the point that she was suspended, and also she has been removed from the WhatsApp group, and she's saying she's going to fight for this case in court. The same thing the chairman is coming out to say, I do not know what you're saying, woman, and if you want to go to court, I'm willing to actually show you too that I actually have nothing to do with that. And now we're seeing Peter Obi decided to step in because he is the presidential candidate, and so it is mandated that he is the leader of the party. Therefore, he should say something about it, and he's actually coming out to say, you know what, just so that we can have a clean sheet, we're going to be having an external auditor to actually check into this. I know a number of people have come out to say that, you know, the reason why we're having problem in our various political parties is the fact that INEC fails to do its work, Rachel. It's expected that every party should submit their audited reports to INEC. You remember when we saw that of when INEC told parties to submit their expenditure of money they spend, and we're still having backlog of how many years that parties have refused to even. So right now INEC have no idea how much every party is earning.
And there's a ceiling to how much a party is supposed to spend,
of course,
for election, and this 3.5 billion is already way above the law.
Of course. And then we saw during while Peter Obi was talking, he had Aisha to Yusufu there with him, where she was actually saying this is how much they got from Nigeria, this is how much they use for litigation in court, this is how much they use for various things, and this in a way to just be transparent and all of that. But then here we're having Peter Obi saying, you know what, in his time he wants to be transparent as much as possible, therefore they are going to audit this. Now at this point in time, who is to blame? Are we going to be blaming the parties for such scandals that keep coming out, or are we going to be blaming INEC, who is supposed to do their work? Believe you me, right now Labour is coming out to say that this woman is being sponsored by somebody outside the party. So right now, where is the finger supposed to point it? Because in as much as one finger is going out, 4 fingers are pointing back at the party, are the way to actually put their mess together and be able to get things right in the party level.
I mean, Stella, when you look at this allegation coming from Opara to Abure and all of that, you can't help but wonder if this thing is being sponsored. And if I were to be in Labour Party in that position, I'll say there's something fishy here coming from whoever the allegation is coming from, who is allegating the other person. I don't know if that word is correct. Accusing, rather, the other person concerning the whole fraud and all of that. Why I'm saying so is that it's not the federal government of Nigeria, right? Where we are seeing like the case of Emefiele, and then Boss Mustafa saying he has never seen these, and saying that the signature of the president is not that big of a financial establishment of an institution. For example, like the federal government of Nigeria. It's Labour, it's a party. I'm not saying they are small. It's a party. There's treasurer, there's chairman, there's secretary,
there's financial secretary.
There's financial secretary and all of that. So the signatory and all of that is not above 5-3 people. It's not that big. Now, are you going to say that you as the treasurer, you don't keep the money, and Abure is the one in charge of the money, that he's spending that much not through you? Because there is a financial secretary, there is a secretary, and the financial secretary accounts for the money that comes in, and then the treasurer keeps it. So how will money flow not through you and only through the chairman? And it doesn't make sense for me, because literally the money is not even supposed to go. No money is supposed to go to the chairman.
The signatory is supposed to be the secretary
and the treasurer.
Of course.
Exactly. The chairman has no business with the flow of money. Talking more of you saying he has so amount of money that couldn't. Was party and primaries ticket money paid to him? It's not supposed to be paid to him. So automatically, are you trying to now say your party don't have a structure, which looks like then you are being sponsored to come and tarnish the image of your party? Because have you been functioning without all of these things put in place? Or what are you trying to do? These are the questions. How would that huge sum of money not go through you, who is the treasurer, and how was everything boycotted that you understand he is the one who is in charge, has this money and all of that, when it's not supposed to be like that in the first place? That is the question that we wonder, okay, where is this coming from? Could this be sponsored? Is it really a problem or not? We can ask all of those questions, and then in the end, you can't help but speculate that this doesn't, there's something fishy beyond just all of these allegations coming. So it's important for an external auditor. And then say, ask the question, is it INEC to be blamed? There is no party that is above INEC. INEC is the Electoral Commission.
They are the bigger
body. No matter
body,
how big or giant the
under.
party is, they are under INEC. And INEC is solely responsible to make sure first that the party has a structure, to make sure that the party is adhering to money guidelines and rules concerning election in the country. It is your responsibility. So when you fail to do your responsibility, we will start seeing problems like that, because you are supposed to make sure that labor was on track concerning expenditures, money, and every other thing. So, I mean, as much as we don't want it, we'll keep pointing fingers to INEC until they admit that they are not getting it right and they wake up and they do right by Nigerians. We will keep seeing all of these issues.
Well, Richard, I think at this point we'll just hope that INEC will realize that, I mean, their name is coming up almost every time we have any issue that has to do with politics in the country. And we hope that they'll be able to get it right. We're hoping that we'll not hear another party coming out with another scandal on the reason why money was actually being spent without some people's knowledge. And we hope that they will get it right eventually without dragging Nigeria. We have a lot on our minds to concentrate on what is happening in the various parties. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for doing this with me. And also thank you to our viewers for keeping this time with us on Nigeria Now. Until we come next week, do have a blessed weekend ahead.